Welcome back to the second video, and in this video I'm going to actually show you how to take your panels and make it into this bag. I have both panels done, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew them together. So embroidery machine is completely done at this point. We're going to use our sewing machine from here on out. So what you're going to do is you're going to put right sides together. And the areas that I'm going to really focus on aligning correctly are this side right here. So I want to get this as much as perfectly aligned as possible. So what I'm going to do is just start right here. And I'm going to put my orange pieces together as close as possible. I'll just put a clip here for now. I will have to adjust, of course. And then I'll do this side. Just like so. And I just want to take a peek and see what it looks like when I go inside like this. Looks pretty good. Okay. So now I will not be sewing on this top part right here. This is a no. All I'll be doing is sewing from here to here to here. But I do want to make sure that it is pretty straight. And as you can see, I will have to cut some at the bottom, which is perfectly fine because one panel shrunk when I was doing the quilting detail, which is perfectly normal. Again, this design is so forgiving. You just adjust. So as you can see, I'm just going to take my little ruler right now and put it in the corner. So that looks really good. And just do a quick little trim. There you go.
Use a 1/4 inch seam allowance and carefully sew around the sides and bottom of the bag, joining the front and back panels together. Of course, right sides are facing together. Be gentle and take your time around the corners and leave the top edge completely open. Now that we've sewn the bag together, you can see the inside is the exterior of the bag. We're going to box the corners to give the bag some shape. And so grab one corner and take one of the bottom corners and pinch it so the side seam lines up with the bottom seam, creating a triangle. Make sure everything is flat and aligned.
So I have this square type ruler. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that top stitch right here. And I'm just going to take this slanted diagonal line and I'm just going to slowly work myself down. Oh, and what I should have done was grabbed a pen. I found a pencil. Hopefully this does the trick. All right, so I have my pointed stitch at 1.5 inches because that's what I decided to go with. And then I just followed the diagonal with this line right here with my fabric diagonal. And now I'm just going to try to use this pencil and make a mark just like so. Okay. And as you can see, it actually worked with a pencil. So now I'm going to go to my machine and I'm just going to stitch back and forth maybe twice to make that box stitch on this side. Now grab some sharp scissors and give it about a 1/4 inch seam allowance or 1/8, just like so. Okay, just make sure that the whole thing is stitched because like when you open it up, you should see at the bottom it'll be this square box like so. Now we have to do the exact same thing with our second side.
Now's a great time to turn your bag inside out so you can get a peek at how the exterior is coming together. It's always fun to see the shape and design start to take form.
I have my 2 lining pieces here cut out. I did 10 inches width, and then I did 13.5 inches long for height. And yours may be different depending on your dimensions of your tote bag. This is so forgiving. So like if you're a little short, a little long, it's gonna be completely okay. So I kind of just estimated what my lining pieces should be based off of this bag by like measuring it and stuff. So it's kind of trial and error, which is completely fine. You know, that's what makes handcrafts so nice, that they're not perfect, they're not mass produced. So along with that, what you're gonna do is put the 2 right pieces sides together of the lining pieces, just like so. And as you can see, just like that. And what you're gonna do is sew around this edge, the bottom, and the top with your sewing machine.
I made a mistake when sewing my lining. I forgot to leave about a 4-inch gap for turning. I'll show you how I fixed it later down this video, but to make things easier for you, be sure to leave a 4-inch gap on one of the side seams, either the left or right one, just not the bottom. After sewing your lining pieces together to form the interior of the bag, it's time to box the corners, just like you did from the exterior. Be sure to use the same measurements. Since I used 1.5 inches for my exterior, I'm going to do the same for both bottom corners of the lining. So just to review, to box a corner, take one of the bottom corners and pinch it so the side seam and bottom seam line up. This will form a triangle with the seam running straight down the center. Using a ruler, measure 1.5 inches from the point of the triangle and draw a straight line across, perpendicular to the seam. This is, of course, going to be your stitch line like before. You may choose to pin it in place. I don't usually do that. Some people like to do that so it doesn't shift. But then just take it to the machine and sew directly across that line. And be sure to back stitch at the beginning and end for durability.
Grab sharp scissors and cut off the corners. And now we gotta do the same thing for this side. Just like before on my other corner, you should definitely cut this like that, and I'm kind of crooked right there actually. All right, and I have my liner all done. Now, I forgot to do something. I forgot to leave a gaping hole on the side, so I don't really feel like recutting my liner piece and doing it again. So what I'm gonna do is actually just grab some sharp scissors and open up the seam in a second, okay? If I were you though, so like here's what my liner is gonna look like, okay? If I were you, and what I would do when I'm putting the 2 seams together, or the 2 lining pieces together, and this is what I normally do, but I completely forgot to do it. I would leave about a gaping hole about this big right here. And that way you can turn it inside out later, okay? So what I would do is start here, stop, cut my thread, leave a hole, start here, go to this corner, and then finish at this corner. That's what I normally would do. Okay, let's see here. I'm probably gonna do about a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do it about 5. So I'm just gonna go right here because I'm gonna give myself, tell me when I need to stop ripping my seams. So here's my seam ripper. I think I'll just start from right here, and I might go back over the I'm gonna go back with my machine right here because I really don't want it to rip when my son's getting candy at Halloween. So yeah, if you make the same mistake as I do, here I'm gonna zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Oh, that is really close. Okay, all I'm doing is ripping this seam just like so. I fixed my mistake. So if you were to, let's get rid of this extra string right there. So now here's the inside. Here's the hole where I will turn it inside out. And if I was to, I want to show you what it looks like on the inside with the box corners, just like so. So you definitely want to poke out those corners just like so. All right. Okay. And there's my gaping hole that we will eventually, of course, sew shut. I'm now going to add the straps. So definitely have your bag turned right side out. And okay, so this is totally up to you. I am going to make mine, because mine's gonna be more of a handbag, so versus a shoulder bag, and it's for a kid, and my bag is smaller. So I cut my polyester webbing at 16 inches, and because it's polyester webbing, you do need to burn the edges so that they don't fray. So I'm just gonna go like this real quick for all 4 sides, just real quick like that. Grab some pins for the next step because we're gonna attach it before we sew it. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, all right, so grab a ruler and I am going to do it from this seam right here. So you're gonna look for your seam and I think I'm gonna do 3 inches. So I'll go like this, by my 3 inches, and then by my center of my polyester webbing. And actually I'm going to do less than, I'm going to do behind 3 inches because I don't want it to cover Oliver's name. I guess it won't technically cover Oliver's name. So I'm actually going to put my webbing right at 3 inches from the side, just like so. And leave it like this where raw edges is touching raw edges. Grab a pin and insert just like so to keep it in place. All right, now we're gonna do it again. So here we go. I wanna make sure I've got that correct. Okay, so from this edge now, find the raw edge, or not the raw, I'm sorry, not a raw edge, the stitched edge. Put my ruler just like so. And I'm gonna put it just like that underneath the thing, underneath the ruler. Grab a pen and insert like so. Okay, so now you can see it's just like that. So I'm gonna take it to the machine and I'm going to stitch it a couple times back and forth here. Take the pins out and you have your very first strap right here. And now you're gonna do the same on the other side. I have my liner piece here and I have my exterior bag here with the straps, and we are now going to attach the liner to the exterior bag, okay? And you'll see that I kind of made my liner a little smaller than this. Again, I eyeball it and kind of like mess around with the dimensions, and this is gonna work because again, this project is pretty forgiving, but you'll see what I mean when I sew it all together. Okay, so all right, the first thing you need to do is take your liner piece and turn it wrong side out. So just grab it like so. And make sure that the the bottom is boxed out just like that. So like a little press like that. Okay. All right, so then what you're gonna do is put your hand through the exterior piece and then open up the liner piece and basically put it in. Because you're gonna, so do you see that this is right side out? This is wrong side out. It has to be that way. So just try to align the bottom boxed edges. Mine is gonna be a little more difficult just because my liner probably should have been a little bit bigger. Then take the straps and make sure you put them through in between the two, just like so. So I put that one in between the two as well, okay? And then try to find where this side is and line it up to this side as best as possible. And then use a Wonder Clip to secure it in place. And I'm gonna finagle this a bit, so you'll see what I mean by that. Okay, so I'm gonna do this side first. I will have to adjust. All right, so here's my other edge. See the other edge? Lining it up to this edge, just like so. And then what I like to do is make sure that it is as far down as it will go, okay? And then I will try to find the center here and bring it to the center. And then this one to the center. Now I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance around this top edge right here, all around the entire bag. So I've sewn all around the top layer. And what you're gonna do now is find that hole that you had from your lining. So there's my hole. And you are going to pull it through. Make sure that you get all the boxed edges and popped out. And then also do the bottom of this one as well. So put your hands through that hole. Go to the very bottom, and if you have a turning tool or a sharp stick of some sort, you can use that as well. I'm just gonna use my fingers. Okay, all right, so then with this hole, you can hand sew it shut. I am not gonna do that because I hate hand sewing. So what I'm gonna do instead is just kind of fold it over here like so. Just fold it over just like so, and then I'm gonna use this right here, this clip, to keep it shut so that I can go to my machine and sew it shut. So now I'm just gonna go and sew along here with the sewing machine. As you can see, it is sewn shut. So now what I'm gonna do is just stick that into the interior of my bag, just like so.
And that's it. You can be done at this point if you like. However, you can also add a top stitch around the very top edge to give it a more finished professional look. But honestly, mine is laying really nicely as is, and I love how the orange accents turned out. So I'm going to leave it just like this, no top stitch for me. And so that's how easy it is to make this fun Halloween candy bag. I hope you had a great time watching this video. And like I said, it is a very versatile design. You can make it longer, wider. I made quite a few of these tote bags and I personalized it in many ways. So, thanks for watching. This design is free on my Patreon. Check the link below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more creative fun.